Hey y'all, we are back live in full effect. Yes, Melanie and Me podcast coming at you. Welcome, welcome. Excited to be here. Hey Whitney.
Coming at you. I don't know why that just reminded me of that song. Do you remember that?
I do.
And we're old. That's for the 90s kids out there who remember the old Disney that used to be popping.
Mm-hmm. I was watching something on Word Up 90s, that Instagram channel. They always have like flashbacks to the 90s. They had 3LW when they were on Soul Train and they were singing this song. I was like, oh my God, I used to love 3LW. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna tell myself.
3LW too.
I used to love them.
Yep.
It's so crazy too, because like the videos I was watching, or I was reading some type of meme, and it was like, I cannot believe we used to run home and turn on 106 in Park just to see what Free had on, to see the latest #1 video, if they made it in the same week, for the same week, #1 spot in a row. Like just all of the nostalgia of our childhoods,
It was so good.
It was such a good time. Great. So we are on here to talk about a few things. The first thing we want to delve into, did you watch the Porsha show? Porsha Williams on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They were calling it Real Housewives of Atlanta, but then they had like Porsha Williams.
I saw that. I was like, y'all are not slick.
I know. I was like, what?
Now we know the holdup, why there's no Real Housewives of Atlanta right now.
Exactly.
And then has stolen that.
And she also, on Watch What Happens Live with Andy, she had one of the viewer questions was like, hey, Porsha girl, are you totally opposed to not coming back on to the Real Housewives of Atlanta? And she was like, I see what y'all trying to do. She was like, no, I don't mind coming back. I'm like, all this means is once Simon and her probably break up, she will be back on Housewives of Atlanta. Maybe even if they stay together, she'll be back. But
even if they stay together, I think that she wanted to like get some of that heat off of her. And then she also wanted to just milk this cow for what it was, because she knew that her storyline was going to be the biggest thing on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So why not just milk it and get yourself a check, and then all your friends and family who are now going to be like co-stars in this show, get them a check.
Yep.
And then when it simmers down a bit and everybody's used to this, you can hop your ass back on Real Housewives, and then it's going to be like last year's tea. No one cares.
Right. Yes. We see you, girl. We see what you doing, boo. We see what you doing.
I will say, very entertaining.
It was very entertaining. I was pleasantly surprised. Like I don't know what I was really anticipating, because it's reality TV, so you kind of like anticipate certain things, but then I thoroughly enjoyed the show, and I think partially that was because it was a little bit more real to me than what I thought I was going to be getting. Even when, since we're talking about it, just even when Porsha had made mention, so for her 40th birthday, she had invited Dennis to her birthday, baby daddy. And she told him that he cannot bring a date. She also had mentioned this to Simon as well. Like it was nothing. Like, yeah, I invited him, but I also told him he couldn't bring a date. And her fiance Simon was like, why? Like, why not? Like, that's silly. And she was like, because no, like he can't, no. And Simon was like, you guys clearly, it sounds like you have unresolved issues. Like you need to work through. And Dennis is like, shit, I'm not coming. Can't bring no motherfucking date. I ain't coming. I ain't showing up for what, So just like things like that just kind of let me know, like, okay, one, I feel like she still has feelings for Dennis. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that she doesn't. And I don't know. It was really refreshing to also kind of see Dennis's point of view, because from the optics of it all in the media, it made it seem like Dennis is just best friends with, you know, Porsha and Simon, and everybody's just gelling together, hanging, macking and hanging. And Dennis kind of came in on this show like, look, the timelines are very off. Porsha's imagination of how it went down and perception and mine are completely differ. You know, so to hear, I guess, to see or to hear him come on the show and say that, and they allowed all of that to be said, was very, I don't know, it made it a little bit more interesting to me.
Girl, everything sounded like a lie to me. It's like they
Yeah.
didn't even get the story straight. I was like, hold up. So
everybody's was different.
So Dennis claims that Porsha and him, quote unquote, met when she slid into his DMs after he was in the process of getting divorced. She heard the news. She asked if he was okay. So that's what he says in his confessional. And then Porsha turns around and says, well, Dennis slid into my DMs. Simon slid into my DMs. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, so which one is it? And then it's also like, this is not when you guys met. I'm so glad Bravo did that little flashback when they were introduced, when Fallon invited them to the house. Simon's ex-wife invited Porsha to the house. That's when they really met. Well, so we think. I don't even know at this point. Like, they could have had something going on the low back then, for all I know. I don't know. Shit is
we don't know.
Real fishy.
We don't know.
Looking real fishy. And shout out to Dennis, because he is keeping it very, very real on this show. And yeah, he's hilarious. He's basically saying our reactions. You know what I'm saying? He's vocalizing how we felt. And it's like, girl, it does look like you stole this woman's husband when she invited you over to do hookah. Like, that's what the optics look like. Like, we don't know what it truly is.
Did you peep when he was out to lunch with her sister Lauren? And she was just like, there was a few things that Dennis had said too, because even with the picture that was taken that everybody saw, because I was like, what? You know, damn, Porsha and her baby daddy and Simon, they all took a picture on Mother's Day. Oh my God, how did she, right? And Dennis kind of broke that down and was like, no. Like, I had something planned for her on Mother's Day. Like, I didn't have any idea of any of this. First of all, I wouldn't have done what I was planning to do for her on Mother's Day had I known she was engaged to a whole nother, you know. And he's like, you know, even the picture, he was just like, I mean, I wasn't opposed to it. He was like, but it was her idea. Like, hey, can we, you know? So it just, from what was, again, the optics of, oh, well, Dennis is just so hunky-dory and they're just so like, yeah, versus his version is like, he's just as confused as we are. I mean, he's even like, you know, Porsha, he's like, I don't know why she's with him. It could be for the money. It could be because he's blowing her back out. He's like, I know that she wouldn't have talked to me if I was broke. I damn sure know that if she wouldn't have had a baby with me if I was broke. I know that. I fell out. Like, I fell out laughing.
I wasn't lying. Did he lie though?
He did not lie, and that's what I love about him. I actually really like Dennis. This is a different version of Dennis that I'm seeing versus like on the show now with her versus the one with it, because he was really way more reserved to me on the show. Housewives, when she was a part of the show. Here, he kind of, we're able to kind of see a little bit. I don't know if it's just because he's able to talk more about things. I don't know, but it's a different side of Dennis.
I don't know either. I feel like he's actually sober in this show, because like on the Housewives, he always just seems like over it, like he's just high or drunk, and he's just like, yeah. Like, you know, like, just leave him alone, basically. Like, he doesn't open. And he usually just has like sunglasses on and he barely say anything.
Right. Like, and I'm like, oh, we're seeing a little bit more of Dennis, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting to see that side. I will also say, what did you think about the part where, and this was kind of interesting. Well, I get why they did it. They did it for us. They did it for the show. I'm sure they've already covered these questions, even though Porsha was like, oh, you guys, I'm sure, have already had these conversations, or maybe not. I don't know. It's been what, 7 months? So when they were out to dinner, her and Simon, Porsha and Simon, and he was just vocalizing that, oh no. Oh, there it goes. He was vocalizing on the show how in his country, you know, they believe in multiple wives and blah, 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 which is not something that we haven't heard from like Nigeria and things like that. But it was funny to me, just him saying it and how he said it. Yeah, I mean, you know, in the States, you know, it's not uncommon for, you know, people to have a wife and then the side chick, and the side chick is okay with the main chick, and the main chick, and everybody's just side, you know, sometimes it's up to 2 to 3. And she was like, you know, well, have you cheated on blah, blah, blah? And he was like, yeah, cheated on pretty much everybody, basically. And then he was like, well, except this last marriage. And I'm like,
Simon and Porsha, they can't keep their lives straight, honey. I can't.
I'm like, okay.
Porsha.
But there's a part of me, there is a large part of me that I feel like Porsha just doesn't even care. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
she riding this roller coaster to this shit break down, and she don't give a damn.
She don't care. I just feel like she don't care. Like, I feel like, yeah, like girl, he said he didn't do it.
Fallon should have never invited her ass to the house anyway. You was just a co-worker at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Simon was fucking check shit. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Simon looks like Dennis's granddaddy. Like, you can't tell me that you really are in love with this man for him. Like, you're just not, Porsha. And more power to you, girl. More power to you. But come on. I mean, the first giveaway was when Porsha got mad at Simon in the first 5 minutes of the show because Simon posted a picture.
I was really confused about that.
And I'm like, girl, you're doing a whole reality show with him and you're upset that he posted a picture of you? Make it make sense. No woman who really is in love with a man is going to be upset that he posts a picture of them. Like, she really...
And she tried to harp on this whole, well, these were special to us. And I'm thinking like,
that's what girls tell the sugar daddy when they're embarrassed to be seen with them. Like, stop it.
Right. I'm like, I don't know what that was about. That was a bit much. I wasn't buying it. I wasn't on board. I wasn't buying that she was really hurt. I wasn't, yeah, that part was just weird to me. Like, I was just kind of like,
She brought it up twice because the first time she was like, okay, it's not a big deal. And then she cried to her mom about it. Like,
yes, girl.
Like, she was really upset that this man posted it.
My thing is, to me, but the tattoo is one thing, but then like the whole kiss, the first kiss, girl, we wouldn't have known if that was y'all's first kiss or 80th kiss. Like, you told us that was like under his photo and caption, he didn't put this is our first kiss. Like, we didn't know when that chick, how many kisses y'all didn't had in that photo.
Girl, who takes a picture of their first kiss? I'm trying to figure it out. Like, make it make sense, because it's looking like a setup. Like, this is all stage, lights, camera, action. The fuck do you mean? You took a picture of your first kiss? What?
Girl, I'm so done.
I'm so lost.
I'm so done. I'm just like.
And did you see Drew? Did you see Drew Sidora hop her ass over there? Drew said she gonna get a check regardless by somebody. Okay, somebody gonna give her a check.
Girl, I'm so done. I was like, is that Drew Sidora?
And she's like, oh, hey, Simon, I don't think I ever officially met you. I don't know what happened with you guys. It's not my business. It's not whatever happened.
Even though I felt it was kind of shady, still ain't my business. It's none of my business. Happy birthday.
Girl, Drew, are you not the same girl who had a whole fucking seance because there was a Delilah spirit in your words with the pastor, and now you okay with Portia's man stealing ass, and the last time you saw Simon was at his wife's house that invited all y'all? I can't. Like this is just all too much for me. I'm like,
It's
this has to be a money grab for everyone. It's just a money grab for everyone.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I will be continuing to watch this show because it's literally it's just so interesting. Like, and the family members, the one thing about these family members of Porsha, baby, they ain't gonna let her get too far from who she is, because they are like,
I'm waiting for those family members because they're country, they're
country. They like, Dennis, yeah, you are right. Yeah, it was about 2 weeks, 2 weeks.
Did you see when Porsha was at the table? She said, "Oh, I'm his fourth wife."
Yeah.
And the auntie was like, "Oh my Lord." I'm like, Porsha doesn't care, dog. I don't blame.
She don't care. She don't care. She don't care. And that's part of why I do like Porsha. A part of me likes Porsha because it's kind of like at this point, she's funny and it's comical, and we are experiencing a completely different Porsha from, the first season that we met her and was introduced to her. And when she was Cordell's wife, she was a whole nother person. And I do think that that is a more common case of how certain men want their wives to be. They want them to just completely change up, and they want them to be very, very closed off, all about them, that narcissistic behavior, like you have to change to be with me. And for people, and it's really scary because I feel like it's two types of women that deal with that. It's the woman who isn't really sure of who she is in that space. And so it's kind of like, okay, sure, like what else am I doing? And then it's the other side of that is, okay, I don't want to be alone, so I'm going to settle for this person, right? Because you're scared to say like, no, you're scared to stand up for yourself. You're scared to, with the fear of like, okay, this person's going to leave me if I don't, so we've seen a huge growth in her, from a business standpoint, from a personality standpoint, and all that type of stuff. So it's just interesting, and I'm just going to continue to ride the wave and watch it and be continuously intrigued by it because it's really funny. And who knows, but hats off to her, because again, she did kind of build herself in terms of, yes, she was on a reality show, but I know that was a real moment for her, an honest moment for her to say, like, honestly, like, I was in a position where I was super dependent on someone. And now I've worked myself to a point where, I don't want to have to be dependent on somebody. Like, if I choose to not work, it's not going to be because I can't afford to buy myself a nice little house if we don't work out. You know what I mean? So,
right.
And I think that's the message, or should be the message for a lot of us. Is
I'm glad she still has this show, because I was worried when she started quitting all her jobs. So
she did.
Well, she quit Dish Network, and then she announced that she quit Real Housewives of Atlanta. So this is before the show.
I wonder why she quit Dish Network.
I figured it was to be Simon's wife. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm glad that this is, like, she's still at least pursuing something, like, and it's her own show at least, Yeah.
So, and a part of me thinks that, and this may just be me, but a part of me also thinks that he likes Porsha too because of that as well. Like,
I think he's a clout chaser. I mean, I don't know much about him, but what I have heard in these streets is not good.
Mm-hmm. And things that we've even seen. I mean, the little that we've seen, from different things, it's just kind of like, you move interesting. That's for sure.
apparently a lot of his business activities are hard to trace. I'll say that.
Mm.
So you don't really know where the streams are coming from.
We
And
just
that
know they're coming. We just know they're coming. We just don't know. We can't trace them. We cannot track them, but we know they are coming. Okay. They're hitting the bank. The deposits are hitting. But yeah, so his income streams are,
questionable.
questionable. Questionable.
So a lot of people are saying that he, as much as people want to call Porsha the opportunist, he could have been quite the opportunist when he came in contact with Porsha through his wife, who was a friend of the show, Porsha being a major star of the show.
Yep.
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
But we're going to be watching and
we're going to continue to be watching
and reporting back, because I feel like this has taken the spot of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know if they're still thinking about releasing that show or what. I don't know, but I would bet money on it right now. Porscha's show gonna have higher numbers than Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. You said it here first, Melanie Me Podcast.
Yep.